46, 246 steps to the top. No lift.
Mama.
Lots of history. If you like your history, you like Stirling, the Old Town, the Castle, Bannockburn, Wallace Monument. Very good. Very, very good. Now, we're about to go over the problem. What's the problem? The problem is the river. This is the River Forth. This river's always split and divided Scotland into two. Even more recent maps show the north is hanging on by a thread, the thread the crossing of the river. In front of you, it's dead flat, just before the Highlands, dead flat. An ancient remnant of a seabed, only drained properly for farmland 150 years ago. These days still flooding too. In the days of Wallace and Bruce, this was a marsh, a bog, difficult to cross. Stirling Castle controlled routes over the bridge and across this area, today known as the Mosses, Drummond Moss, Drip Moss, Flanders Moss. Just to conclude the story with King Robert, after the Bannockburn, things got quiet. In 1320, 6 years later, King Robert wanted to gain recognition again from Rome, from the Pope. He gathered his men, they signed a document, the Declaration of Arbroath, in Arbroath. He moaned much about England's interferences into Scotland's affairs. Above all, it stated that it wasn't for honour nor glory nor riches, but for freedom, that Scotland would carry on the fight so long as it still had 100 fighting men alive to do so. And it worked. Rome recognised Scotland once more. Robert died in 1329, dying knowing he'd achieved much. He had one wish. He wanted his heart to be taken to Jerusalem, to the Holy Land. He had never been crusading and wanted to. When he died, his friend, a man called James Douglas, he carried out his order. King Robert. More recently too, anyone into Outlander? Anyone heard of Outlander? No? Anyway, it was Castle Leoch. It's where Jamie and Claire got help from the Fraser clan. You'll see the castle for a moment, in a moment. You'll see it from a bridge. The bridge on the River Teith. People visiting the village, that's another story. So if you look right on the bridge, his name was Spittle. If you look right on the bridge, when I can get onto, I can't stop on the bridge, when I can get onto the bridge, you'll see the castle on the right hand side here. Doon Castle, here she is, and the River Teith. Doon is a bit of a stepping stone towards the Highlands. Here you're advised to make out your will and to pick up a weapon. 1670 time, a blacksmith here called Thomas Cadell would manufacture flintlock pistols, melted down horseshoes for the metal. These guns were made really well, today worth a lot of money if you come across them. They were too also the first guns to be fired in America. Anyone from the US? You know? Been to Lexington? because it was said that they were the first guns fired in the American Wars of Independence at Lexington in 1775. Though it was disputable, I believe, as to actually shot the first shots. Yeah. Turn right there, where our famous tennis star lives, Sir Andy Murray. Yeah, Andy Murray lives in the next place after that one, down to the right. Dunblane, eventually. Nice place too. He's playing tennis in the Olympics at the moment, isn't he? I don't even know if he won or not the other day. Anyway, I get lost in my own world up here. Now there's some roadworks just up ahead here, and then we should be fairly free flowing through to Callander. If you like rummaging through old things, there's an arts and antiques centre on the right here. Also in Doon, the other side, there's a single malt whisky distillery, Deanston single malt. So you can spend a little time there actually, it's quite nice. So a few local shops. A few empty places too. Big white building on the right, built for the chief of the McNabs at back end of the 19th century. See the bar's called McNab. The hotel's called the Dreadnought. Well, Dreadnought, in fact, was the motto for the McNabs. Example there. Now up ahead we're going to stop in a minute. When we stop you'll see that, well, number one, the village is called Kilmahog. You'll find lots of places in Scotland, Ireland Way too, beginning with K-I-L, Kill. It's a reference to the church, Kill Cell Church. Early groups, the Caldees, were spreading a Christian belief to a pagan society here at one time. They operated in groups, these cells. They established the early churches, these kills as well. Kilmahog is the cell of St. Chug. You'll see two coos. Coo, the old Scots were for cow. Coo, spelt C-O-O-O-O-O-O-O-O-O-O. Hairy coo. If you hear me shout hairy coo, there's Highland cattle around, alright? These two, there's the big male, the black one is the male, his name's Hamish. The brown one, the female, is called Honey. Honey and Hamish. They are the cattle. Can you see them on the right? Yeah. Okay. So this is our first stop. As I said, you will be very much wanting to take pictures. My strong advice is to go in the building first, get a drink if you want one, and come back outside and take some pictures. Alright. The toilets are down the middle. Sailing school. If you want to fish, you need a permit. Around the corner, the local shop will sell you a fishing permit. Trout, salmon if you're lucky, pike, all kinds of things. So Loch Erne, the river flows out the other end as Loch Erne, as the River Erne. Yeah, a lot of green. There are other colours around. The bracken on the side, the fern is very bold at the moment. Higher up, the darker patches, heathers. The heather at the moment is flowering with a purple colour, and you also end up with purple looking mountains. The colour purple, a very strong colour here too. As you'll notice as you go up the hill, on the side of the road, you'll see the symbol, the emblem, the thistles growing. Lots of different kinds of thistle. The thistle's a symbol for Scotland, like England has the rose, Scotland has the thistle. Foxglove is growing high at the moment. Also Rosebay Willow Herb, a very tall flowing thing in the wind you may have seen. In the month of June last month, the rhododendron was out, purple pink. So yeah, purple pink, a lot of that. You'll see a lot of the wild, rough sort of looking. So there you go. Yeah, they've got 3 children and they all live in the castle. Now, we've not been able to see much in the way of bigger mountain scenery, but there are some around, and on the right there's a group of 5 mountains here. They're the Bridge of Orkney Hills and Mountains. Averaging around about 1100 metres above sea level, 3,500 feet up. The mountains in Scotland are not the highest above sea level in the world by any means, but they're very beautiful. The highest mountain, Ben Nevis by Fort William, is 1344, 1344 metres, 4,400 feet up, the highest point in Britain. Most of the mountains are 900 to 1,200 metres here, 3 to 4,000. So short compared with the Alps, the Himalaya, the Andes, the Rockies. In fact, this is really, really ancient scenery. Scientists say that if you were to go back 500 million years ago, that of course it was very different. Of course it was very different. Yeah, they say we had mountains over 8,000 metres here above sea level. It's taken hundreds of millions of years for them to be worn down. This is all we've got left. These are the bottoms, the bases of much taller mountains. In Europe, the Alps are new rock. They're still being pushed up. The Himalaya are new. They're still being pushed. We stopped being pushed a long time ago. It's even more incomprehensible further north. In the Northwest Highlands, you'll find 3 billion year old Lewisian gneiss rock exposed on the surface. Some of the world's oldest of the rock. No fossils, nothing. A lot of interesting geology. A lot of it's, well, volcanic too. A lot of granite here, a lot of quartzites. But we've got sandstones like the Toledonian ones up north, pushed up out of the sea. The grandfather of geology too, a Scottish man called James Hutton, he started to tell people, right down much too, and that the world was old. No one kind of believed him at that time. Religious belief, of course, was much, much stronger. An eerie, echoey place up here as well. More mountains at the back. Welcome to my office. Do you like my office?
Oh yeah.
Now then, as I say, hand stop here. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna go down. Down at the bottom here, there's a river in the loch in the mountains. There's a bit more actually. It's a really nice spot. You might see some waterfalls as well. It should actually. So, low level, high level routes. Wandering around the river. Now it is raining. If anyone, oh, I forgot about those. If anyone needs a poncho, I've got to get you guys ponchos somewhere if you can give them out.